Hello, and welcome to English Unwritten. Today, we have a beautiful, heartfelt story for you. This story is slow, warm, simple, and easy to follow English. So just relax, get comfortable, and let your English improve naturally, one story at a time. I never expected to be named in Mrs. Sterling's will, especially since I was just her daughter's quiet best friend from the school bus. But when the lawyer read the final document, my best friend's face turned white, and my life was changed by a fortune that came with a devastating secret. My name is Clara. For 15 years, I was Elena's shadow. Elena was beautiful, wealthy, and lived in a house that looked like a palace. I, on the other hand, lived in a small apartment with my mother, who worked 2 jobs just to keep the lights on. Despite our different worlds, Elena and I were inseparable. But the person I truly admired was her mother, Mrs. Sterling. While Elena was often out at parties, Mrs. Sterling would sit with me in her garden. She taught me how to plant roses and how to carry myself with dignity. She was the mother I always dreamed of having. "Clara," she told me once, "character is the only thing people cannot take from you. Remember that when the world gets loud." I didn't understand what she meant then. I just thought she was being kind. Everything changed last autumn. Mrs. Sterling's health declined rapidly. Elena was rarely there. She was too busy traveling or complaining about how depressing the house had become. I was the one who sat by Mrs. Sterling's bed. I was the one who held her hand when she couldn't sleep. When she finally passed away, the grief was overwhelming. I felt like I had lost my true north. Elena, however, seemed more concerned with the funeral arrangements and who would see her in her designer black dress. A week after the funeral, we were called to the office of Mr. Harrison, the family lawyer. Elena walked in with a look of bored confidence. She expected to inherit the estate, the investments, and the jewelry. I was only there because Mr. Harrison insisted it was mandatory. Mr. Harrison cleared his throat and began to read. "To my daughter, Elena, I leave the family home and a monthly allowance, provided she remains employed for 1 full year." Elena gasped. "An allowance? Employed? Is she joking?" But Mr. Harrison wasn't finished. "To Clara Miller, I leave my entire investment portfolio, the beach house in Maine, and the remainder of my liquid assets, totaling $12 million. The room went silent. I felt like the floor had vanished beneath my feet. Elena turned to me, her eyes filled with a rage I had never seen before. "You manipulated her," she screamed. "You stayed by her bed just to steal my life." I was too shocked to speak. I didn't want the money. I wanted my friend back. I wanted the woman who taught me about roses to be alive. The next few weeks were a nightmare. Elena blocked my calls. She told everyone in our town that I was a gold digger who had tricked a dying woman. I stayed inside my small apartment, afraid to even go to the grocery store. I felt like the fortune was a curse. One evening, Mr. Harrison arrived at my door. He handed me a sealed blue envelope. "Mrs. Sterling told me to give this to you only if Elena reacted poorly," he said softly. Inside was a letter in Mrs. Sterling's elegant handwriting. It read, "My dear Clara, I know you are confused. You are probably feeling guilty. Please do not. I did not give you this money to hurt Elena. I gave it to you to save her. If I gave Elena everything now, she would destroy herself within a year. She has never known the value of work or the weight of responsibility. By giving the fortune to you, I am placing it in the hands of someone who knows what it means to struggle. I am also giving Elena a choice. She can work and earn her life, or she can spend it being angry. Clara, use this to build the life your mother couldn't give you. And if Elena ever truly changes, you will know what to do." I realized then that this wasn't a gift of greed. It was a test of love. Mrs. Sterling knew that Elena's entitlement was a poison. By taking away her safety net, she was giving her a chance to grow. I didn't spend a penny of the money on myself at first. Instead, I set up a foundation in Mrs. Sterling's name to help single mothers. I bought my own mother a small, comfortable house, but I kept my job at the library. Months passed. I heard through the grapevine that Elena had lost the family home because she refused to get a job. She was living in a small studio, working as a waitress. My heart ached for her, but I remembered Mrs. Sterling's words. She must learn. One rainy Tuesday, there was a knock at my door. It was Elena. She looked tired. Her designer clothes were gone, replaced by a simple uniform. She didn't look angry anymore. She looked humbled. "I came to apologize," she whispered. "I hated you for so long, Clara. But for the first time in my life, I paid my own rent yesterday. I realized that my mother didn't hate me. She just didn't want me to be a hollow person." We sat in my kitchen and cried together. I told her about the letter. I told her that the fortune was still there, waiting for the day we could manage it together as equals. Wealth is a strange thing. It can build walls between people, or it can be the bridge that leads them back to the truth. Mrs. Sterling didn't just leave me a fortune. She left me a future where my best friend could finally be the person she was meant to be. The greatest inheritance isn't found in a bank account, but in the lessons of those who loved us enough to tell us the difficult truth. If this story moved you and helped you practice your English, please subscribe and join our community. I want to hear from you in the comments. If you were in Clara's position, would you have shared the money immediately, or would you have waited for Elena to change? Your thoughts help us grow, and I look forward to reading every one of them.